Hello there and welcome along. The Gardener Ben here with your next rose review, and the adorable little rambling rose next to me today is called Rural England. Bred and introduced by English breeder Peter Beals in 2006, this is more than manageable for most people's growing space. Now, I often equate the choosing of a rambling or climbing rose for your garden as maybe going shopping on an empty stomach, or maybe over ordering a Chinese or Indian takeaway. Your eyes often bigger than your belly, and it's very important when choosing a rambling or climbing rose for your growing space that you always leave yourself wanting ever so slightly more than entering into a lifelong battle with a rose that's simply going to swamp your space or engulf the structures you want it to climb up. Rural England, as they bred and introduced by Peter Beals in 2006, is more than manageable. It only reaches between 8 and 10 feet with a total spread of around 6 feet wide. So imagine that as around 1.5 fence panels and around a fence panel wide. But this particular rose, as I say, more than manageable for most people's spaces, is going to be demanding a position in the garden in full sun. So on a fence or a structure with a south or west facing aspect, receiving at least 6 or 7 hours of direct sunlight per day, and it's going to specify that for a very, very good reason. Rural England will flower almost continuously all summer long for you, producing a really, really large cascading display of flowers from the beginning of June through to the very end of September and even into October. These beautiful, heavily rosetted fuchsia pink flowers produced in large sprays which tumble very naturally towards the floor. So whether you want to grow this on a pillar or post, whether you want to grow this on a wall or a fence, or maybe on an upright for a pergola, or something like I'm sat under here, a garden structure which needs the side structural posts to be cladded, Rural England is going to be a rose that you may want to look out for. It is virtually thornless. I'll bring a stem close to the camera for you so you can see. There are 1 or 2 thorns. They're burgundy red in colour, and a slight amount of burgundy red tinged to the back of the stems and some mossing. You can see being visited by a hoverfly in today's video. It produces really quite large sprays of fuchsia pink flowers. They open from deep cerise pink buds to these beautiful little rosetted blooms, each measuring around 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. The central petals of these rosetted flowers curl ever so shyly around the sexual parts of the flower, meaning they last quite a long time on the flower. It really is very pretty, and you can see if I hold this up, because this is the kind of effect you're going to have nodding off the fence or support that you have this on. These large sprays of cascading flowers. So this is perfect for growing up a rose arch where you want this really lovely sort of whimsical sense of movement, this fairytale look. All of these flowers, as they shatter, these petals are going to fall to the floor, giving you that sort of lovely confetti type look to the bloom as it comes to an end and moves in and out of blooming. Say reaching around 6 to 8 feet in height and around 6 to 8 feet wide. The foliage is really very, very dainty indeed. You'd think for a climbing or a rambling rose that's getting ever so slightly larger than this, say up to about 8 to 10 feet, the foliage will be a little bit larger, but it's actually really quite petite, very, very delicate, high green, high gloss, and quite waxy to the touch. There is a small amount of mossing, that purple red mossing mocked again through the back of the leaf axil, and again some small barbs there as well, but virtually thornless, making Rural England really, really easy to handle and very, very easy to prune and tie in. So it's quite a chunky plant, producing lots and lots of growth. These flowers, when they come to be dead-headed, just simply take your secateurs and remove the entire spray, and it will then produce another repeat batch of flowers later on in the season. It does suffer with a little bit of mildew. Now, I don't know if that's my particular rose. My rose is a little on the young side. I've only had it for a little small amount of time, so you might find this is something that rose grows out of. It has been particularly stressful this year as well. I'm going to be rating Rural England with a 7 out of 10 for disease resistance today, so very, very good on the disease resistance, although I'm going to keep monitoring it for mildew, because I say you've got a little bit of mildew setting in places, but nothing really to write home about and nothing to become concerned by. I'm going to be rating this one with a very low thorn count, making it easy to handle and perfect for high traffic areas, especially around doorways and around paths. Maybe you wanted to clad, say, the sides of a pergola where you're moving in and out from your covered area. This is absolutely perfect. Say more than manageable, only reaching around 8 to 10 feet in height. The fragrance on this one is a little bit lacking, but again, Peterbilts are open and honest about that. There's not a lot of fragrance to this one at all. It smells ever so slightly of baby powder. So you've got sort of Johnson's and Johnson's baby powder or talcum powder there. I'm going to be rating this one today with a 3 out of 10 for fragrance rating. But if you're looking for a small, compact and high performing rambling rose, which is going to give you that lovely informal look, that lovely sense of fairy tale and movement to the garden and flower almost continuously all summer long, rural England is going to be a rose for you. Fully hardy in zones 6 through 11. This is a really good one, and I'm going to look forward to actually planting mine up in the area I'm actually growing. I'm actually bringing you this review in today, up in what used to be the wildflower meadow. I'm going to put this onto a fence panel, and I'm going to really enjoy these beautiful blooms as they hang very, very daintily towards the floor. Let's bring you that one again, show you that full color. Really, really lovely. Those blooms heavily rosetted, those petals absolutely packed around it. I say those central petals curling ever so slightly around those stamens in the very, very center. A really, really lovely rambling rose from English breeder Peterbilts. This is rural England.